And we are live. Hello, guys, and welcome to Jason Hebert Live. Thank you for tuning in. We have another missing persons interview for you tonight. I do apologize for this one taking place an hour later than our typical one. We typically go live at 9 p.m. most nights, tonight, Eastern Time. Tonight is 10 p.m. That is my fault. I had kind of some things going on at home and technical issues and things like that. So thanks for bearing with us. Hopefully, most of you guys were able to stay and catch this as well. So if you're not familiar with the show, what we do here is we interview the loved ones of missing persons and unsolved crimes. We just lost one of our guests, and at the same time, about the numbers on the audience cut in half. I wonder if it's an issue with StreamYard. That's odd. Oh, she's back. Okay. Well, okay. We got you, Rachel. It's really weird. The audience bumped from 30 to down to 10. Boom. And then Rachel dropped off. So that's odd. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. If you are not familiar with our show, what we do is we interview the loved ones of missing persons in unsolved crimes in an effort to help spread awareness and help hopefully bring justice to the cases. Our show does work a bit differently. It is a lot different from other shows that you may find on this format in that we don't have the host, myself, giving our opinions of the cases. Instead, what we do is we go directly to the horse's mouth. We get the story from the source. We bring on the families and let you guys talk to them directly, as well as we have the chat here so you can ask questions. So maybe it's a case you've been following for years and you've always had that one question that you've never been able to ask, and now you can come on and ask it directly to the family. Or maybe it's a new case that you just found out about today and you have a ton of questions that are running through your head. Either way, you can ask them here. We try to get to as many as possible, although we can't always promise that we get to all of them. Sometimes the chats do get pretty busy. But if that's something that interests you, please click subscribe below and set the notification bell to all, and you will be notified every time we are prepared to go live with a new case. Typically, we try to go live most nights, at least a few a week. So tonight's subject that we're going to look into is Ericka Hogg. We have her sister and an advocate for the family on. A friend who has kind of taken on an advocate role since she went missing. She went missing May 17th of 2018 from Selma, Oregon. And hello, Denise. We have Denise here as well. So we're only at about 30 people. So I'm just trying to see if we can. That's why I'm going a little slow with the introductions. Once we can get a little higher, I will start giving you guys some of the basics of the case. I just don't want too many people to miss the beginning, because then when they come on, they start asking questions in the chat that we've already covered. But okay, as it rounds out to about 50 before we get started. Hey, Denise. Hello to everybody. Shammy, Annie, Denise, Angie. What's up, Angie? Miss Rodriguez, Shells. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Alberta Proud. I can't get to everybody, obviously. But Lisa, thanks to everyone who has joined us. So this article that I have is one that was sent to me by the advocate for the family. It credit to Kobi5, Kobi5. This is, if you're not familiar with the show, what I do is try to give you guys just very simple basics before I bring the guests on. I don't want to say too much because a lot of what I cover will then be covered by the family again, and obviously they can tell it a lot better than me. So I try to give you guys the very, very basics, then bring them on to kind of fill everything out. But we can get started now. So the Kobi5 article reads, friends and family of Ericka Hogg are hoping for answers and praying for good news. I'm just afraid that we're not going to find her, said Ericka Hogg's friend, Miranda Brady. Brady says she spends a moment each day praying for her dear friend, Ericka Hogg, but those prayers are never without tears. She's one of many who know and love Hogg, a 40-year-old who's been missing since May of 2018, of course. We just really want to know what happened to her, said Brady, and if something happened to her, we want this person off the street. Police say Hogg was last seen in Selma out on Deer Creek Road. Hogg's sister, Rachel Carter, said she suffers from schizophrenia and is an adventurous spirit who's gone missing before. But this time was different. I knew that I probably wouldn't see her again, said Carter. Carter says when she got a call from Hogg's boyfriend concerned about where she was, they all contacted police. Carter drove to Oregon. We did a ground search, we went on hikes, and we walked the river, said Carter. The family posted on social media, put up countless flyers, even hiring a private dog handler to search the grounds. Hogg was nowhere to be found. It went stale. There were no new tips to follow up on, said Sergeant Jeffrey Prohl of the Oregon State Police. The case has been investigated by multiple agencies from the Josephine County Sheriff's Office, FBI, and now Oregon State Police. Right now, Sergeant Jeff Pruill says they're still investigating it as a missing persons case. We've reviewed the report and any interviews, and right now nothing stands out that it was foul play, he said. But family and friends aren't so sure. Some are expressing concerns about a volatile past relationship. I feel like that somebody did something to Ericka that was not good, that was bad, and I feel like this person is still walking around, said Brady. Others don't want to point fingers but are losing hope that she'll come home. Whether she's alive or dead, we just want some closure, said Carter. And again, Ericka was seen mid-May of 2018. Ericka's 5 foot 6 inches tall, 100 pounds, with light brown dreadlocks in rainbow-colored highlights. Again, this is when she went missing. It has been a few years. She has a tattoo of a marijuana leaf on her right bicep, and we will be showing plenty of pictures of her throughout the broadcast. If you have any information, you're urged to contact Oregon State Police. And again, I will be bringing on the family. All links of everyone we talk to are always in the description above or below the video, depending on if you're watching from Facebook or YouTube. But okay, we do have a good amount of people in here now. Welcome, everybody. So we're going to bring on Gwen, who is an advocate for the family, and Rachel, who is the sister of Ericka. So Gwen and Rachel, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I just want to say I'm so sorry for what you guys are going through. You know, I could never be on that side in those shoes. It's a totally different thing than what I'm going through. So I always admired you guys' strength that you're able to come on here and, advocate and hopefully we'll pray to God that we can help bring her home.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So Jason, really quick, I just wanted to say it's pronounced Hogg and not Hogg.
I apologize.
I really should have said something before this all started. Whoops.
Yeah. Sorry about that. But okay, yeah. Sorry, guys. The mispronunciation on the name. It's Hogg, so it's a little deceptive.
It's a really common mistake.
Okay. I'm Hebert, and every time I got Herbert, which then when I was a kid, I got tormented with Sherbert. So I know the struggle, believe me. but sorry about that, guys. Yeah. So I don't know how you guys, if you guys have talked about who's going to start or exactly how you want to do it, but do any of you guys want to kind of start and maybe just tell us a little bit about Ericka, who she was, a little bit about her personality, and then we can maybe lead into, the timeline of what we do know happened in the weeks and months leading up to her disappearance?
I mean, Rachel, if you're comfortable with that, since I never actually knew Ericka directly, it'd probably be best to defer to you in that regard.
Okay. Ericka's my sister. We're a little over a year apart in age. She has 2 children. She from a previous relationship. The children live with their father. She was a wonderful person. She's a great mother. Wonderful sister.
And do you want to kind of take us, to the events leading up? I don't know if you want to start maybe that day or if anything happened, in the week before or a month before. Do you want to kind of lead us into what we do know she was going through? What was going on in her life at the time before up until she went missing?
It seemed to be her regular patterns. She would check in with me often. She was supposed to go to Oklahoma with me to go to my son's graduation. He graduated from boot camp on May 4th of that year. And she called me to tell me that she couldn't make it, that she would see me for my birthday, or that she would see me for Mother's Day. I'm sorry. When we got back from the graduation, it seemed pretty normal. Mother's Day came and went, and I didn't hear from her, which isn't completely unusual. I figured I'd give it a day or two and then give her a call. Okay. And she never contacted me. And
So when you say it wasn't completely unusual, do you mean it wasn't completely unusual to hear from her at all, or for her to kind of make a plan and then not show up for the plan, or?
It wasn't unusual for her to make a plan and then not follow through. I mean,
Okay.
she does, well, she did sometimes stick to her plan, but usually it would be a couple days after. And
Okay.
that was typical for her, but it wasn't typical for her to go years. It's not typical for her to go months, even weeks.
Right. And when did you say is the last time that you saw her and spoke to her? The very last time?
Very last time I saw her in person was in March of 2018. She
Okay.
had just gotten back from Florida, and she had stopped at my house for about a week.
Okay, so a couple of months from when she
Mhm.
went missing, March to May. And so what, and who do we know is the last person that did see her, and what do we know about that scenario? We
No,
know where she was. She was on Deer Creek Road, it says. Was she alone then? Was she visiting anyone? What was she doing that day? Are we aware?
she lived there with her boyfriend at the time, Larry Anthony Hopkins, also known as Hannibal. When she left my house, she went to Washington State and then supposedly back home, but I do not physically know about her whereabouts since she left my home in March.
Okay.
I'm just going on what he told me.
Okay. Is that him right there?
Yes, that is him.
Okay. So when it says that she was last seen on Deer Creek Road, does that mean at the home, or was she seen walking down it, or what's it
No,
referring
she
to?
was seen at the camper. She actually stopped by the neighbor's house that is also on the property. His name is Ryan. I don't know his last name. She stopped there to use the shower, and that is the last time Ryan says that he saw her.
Okay.
And his
I-
name is actually Ryan Bargay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I just want to get, because we were talking a little bit beforehand, so I just want to make sure that we get something out of the way, because I'm pretty familiar with the patterns that come and what kind of questions are asked. So because Annie asked, were they on good terms? So as far as we know, the boyfriend, there's no reason to suspect him of anything. He's been good as far, he's cooperated with the police, and he is doing his part to look for her and everything. I say that only because we've already had a few questions asking, and that's a question that comes up that pretty much everyone asks. What about the significant other? So as far as we know, there's no reason to suspect him. So we are looking other places, and so Annie, yeah, they were on good terms, and as far as we know, everything went good there and everything like that. So what about? Okay, so you said that's where she was last seen. Did you say going to the camper?
Yeah, yeah. She went back to the camper. Anthony says that she was upset and wanted her space.
Okay.
Didn't say they were fighting, but it's it's not unusual for her to just need some alone time. She said she needed some space, so he went for a walk and came back. She still wasn't home, so he said he went to bed. And when he woke up the next morning, she still wasn't there.
Okay, so they're at the house. They get in a fight, so she leaves to go to the camper. He's waiting for her. She doesn't come back. He goes on his own walk, comes back to the house. She's still not home, so he goes to bed.
Yes.
Okay. And did you said someone else was living on the property? Did you say they were living in that camper, or what was that just
No,
somewhere?
there's a physical structure on the property that the neighbor was living in.
Okay, so if she went to the camper, it would have more been just to be completely alone when you say get her own space.
Yes.
She would have been okay. Okay. Gwen, do you wanna jump in? I know you've done a lot of research as well. I don't know too much. This kind of came together kind of quick, guys. It was all within a couple of days, so I wasn't able to find too much about Gwen. I know Gwen and Rachel, as far as if you guys have shared everything, if you know all the same info, if you've come across. Is there anything you want to add to what you kind of uncovered about?
I just want to add, as far as to the general story, the reason that they were kind of out here to begin with, Ericka and Anthony, were that they were working on a cannabis farm because marijuana is legal up here in Oregon. And
Right.
so they were working for a local grower, kind of, and staying on either the same property as the grower or an adjacent property. I still don't quite know. I mean, that area of the valley kind of has a lot of different grows around it. So,
Okay.
yeah. So as far as that's concerned, the reason that they were kind of out in that area in the middle of freaking nowhere is that they were just like working. We get a lot of those types around here.
They were doing trim work for neighboring growers. They were trying to start their own grow. It wasn't established yet though, so they were working for neighbor grows.
Okay, so that was the reason for them coming to the area, was to
Yes.
work on that. Where were they coming from? Like, where were they before that? Before they came to work on the?
They kind of drift around. They mostly stayed with me.
Okay, so they bounced around, and she looks kind of like I'm just going obviously totally off looks, but kind of like a free spirit, kind of. What's the wording I'm looking for? Like a fun-loving, free spirit kind of person that would kind of float around, and a throwback kind of girl. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like from the like almost like the 70s or something. So I just thought it was pretty cool, her look. Okay, so have you guys? Did she have a phone?
Yes, they shared a prepaid phone.
They shared a prepaid phone. Who had it that day?
Anthony.
Okay, so she wouldn't have had any phone with her that you could have tracked her from when she left the trailer or the shed.
No.
And have you guys kind of talked to? I don't know if there are any neighbors. I know we're talking about a big farm and things like that. Have you talked to any neighbors or anyone that around the directions around the house to see if she was seen going any certain way from the house? Or
When I was there shortly after her disappearance, I went door to door.
okay.
Nobody saw her walking down the road.
So
And there was one person that claimed that they were at what is that store?
The Ray's Market.
Yeah, the Ray's Market, claimed that they saw her walking, but they're the only person. And I tried to get surveillance from Ray's Market when I was there, and they refused to give it to me. So
they refused. Wow. Did they say why, or just we don't do that, or what's the?
They said that it was against their policy and that the sheriff's department had to request it. So I put in a request with the sheriff's department to get surveillance, and it has not been obtained.
Huh. Okay.
No, and OSP even has it written down in the police reports that there were 3 responses to the missing persons flyer, and one of them was a woman in Selma who claimed that she saw her walking on Highway 199. So I'm assuming that would be the person that saw her walking near Ray's.
Okay. And how long would that have been after she would have left the house?
It doesn't say.
Okay. Pine Mountain asked a question, but we've kind of already answered it. He asked, or he or she asked, did they both go missing while working out in the field or somewhere else? But no, they were at home when the argument occurred. Not the argument went on, when they decided to get a little space, and she walked away, right?
Yeah. Anthony is not missing. I know his whereabouts to this day.
Yeah. So, okay. They were home, not in the field, Pine Mountain.
Right.
Yeah. They weren't working. So, Annie says, I may have missed this. What time did she leave? Do we know the exact time that she went and took a walk to the shed or whatever?
I don't know the exact time. I think it was in the evening. It was dark.
Pretty late at night from what I could figure out as well. Like, that seems accurate.
Okay. And she didn't have any phone on her, so she didn't call like a friend to tell them to have a talk about what she had just been through or anything like that? Did she go on any social media or just talk to anybody after that?
No.
Okay.
She has my phone number memorized, so it bothers me that the storyline bothers me that she wouldn't try to contact me. Even if she didn't have a phone, she would borrow a neighbor's, or she would walk down the store and call me. that would be her typical routine for when she's upset.
Mm. Yeah, if she was going to call anyone, it would definitely be you feel?
Oh, absolutely.
Or yeah. Okay. Just going over some pictures here, guys. So, Gwen, you said there's the sighting walking on the highway there near the store. Is there any other information that you've been able to uncover that?
Well, as far as the police report goes, honestly, not much. Like the police information is really quite bare bones. As far as my research after the fact, I've gotten a lot of calls as far as people who have claimed to have seen her. I know there's a girl around here, local to the Josephine County area, who looks a lot like her and gets mistaken for her quite often. But I know that that's not the case. And I've also gotten people calling from as far north as like Portland and Seattle to as far south as like Humboldt and like San Francisco, that area. Really, she could be anywhere or she could not be anywhere, if you catch my drift.
Right. We see a lot. I bring this up because it seems to be pretty public. Every article and poster I'm reading does mention it, but it says that she did have some struggles with schizophrenia. Do we feel that could play any role either in the disappearance in general or anything that happened that day? I mean, what was she on medication that she had to take daily? I'm assuming, or what's the situation there?
I really don't think that her mental illness is a factor in her disappearance unless she was in a situation, got combative with somebody and somebody accidentally killed her. That's the only way I can see her mental illness being a factor. She was schizophrenic. She was not medicated, but she still had her own routine. She still showed up to her doctor's appointments. She still showed up for her Social Security appointments. She still checked in with me on a regular basis. She would go and see her children for their birthdays, for Mother's Day, for Christmas. She never failed. She was diagnosed over 10 years ago, and she still kept her routine going because her kids are the most important thing to her.
Right.
And without that routine, she wasn't able to see them.
Okay.
I would like to add that according to screenshots of a conversation with Anthony that were sent to me, she was in a little bit of distress, according to him, as far as her mental health state was concerned. She was supposedly talking to people who were not there. She seemed to have potentially been triggered by the fact that she wasn't, for some reason, able to see her children around Mother's Day. That's just based off of these screenshots that I did obtain. So, I mean, that could have had something to do with why she and Anthony were at odds and she needed space.
Okay.
Theoretically.
Okay. So we don't think it plays too much of a role in disappearance, but it did play a role possibly in the little disagreement that they had that day.
Yeah.
Okay. And you had said something about the only way you think it would have played a role is if she had gotten combative. But that wasn't typical of her anyways, right? For her to come combative because of it. And plus she was...
No, she was nonviolent.
Okay. And we talked earlier about there's no obligation to answer any questions that you don't want to. If you don't think it'll be helpful to answer, don't. So yeah, you're in control, but we do have someone asking, do you believe she was on any sort of substance or anything like that? Do you think that plays any factor? Did she ever? Again, it's not a question you have to answer, but it's one that did come up.
She self-medicated often with marijuana. As far as anything else, I couldn't tell you. When she was with me, she wasn't on any of those other things.
Okay.
I would like to add that the police reports do state that they were occasionally known to dabble in amphetamines. She and Hopkins. But I mean, as far as whether or not they were on them during this particular time, I'm honestly not sure.
We don't know. Okay. Okay. And has he been asked about if that played any role in the night, or?
I asked him if they were on anything else, and he told me no, but
He said no. Okay.
I haven't been able to
I
get in
wasn't
contact
there,
with him.
so
And all we can really do is go by his word, right? At this point.
correct.
Yeah. Okay. Denise McGarity asks, "Is the area wooded?" And I'll add it.
Yes.
Oh, are there any lakes or anything? I'll add to that.
Yeah,
Bodies of
it's
water.
heavily wooded. Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's deep woods. It's about as thick as you can get.
Yeah, very heavily wooded, lots of steep inclines in the general vicinity. A few hiking trails nearby.
Okay. And this is Selma, Oregon, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the area, but I know of it, of course. Let me see. Just trying to find some questions. Hi, Carla. Welcome.
And I would like to add, she did disappear around the 7800th block of Deer Creek Road, which is 7 miles effectively from the highway. So she would have had quite a long walk. I mean, if we're talking walking speeds, I can average about 2 miles in a little under an hour. So yeah, that would be several hours of walking at a normal pace.
Okay.
For her to even reach that highway.
Okay. So it would have been quite a walk. And well, speaking of that, was there ever any history of her doing this? Of her disappearing, taking long walks, things like that? And how, if so, was it for long periods of time, or what's the history there?
She would take long walks to get her own space. Yes, but like I said before, if she was upset, she would call me. If she felt like she was in a situation she wanted out of, she would call me and I would go get her.
Right, but she had she ever, has there ever, I know she almost always did call you when she was upset, but had there ever been any time where she didn't call you and disappeared for a period of time, or that's never happened previously?
No.
Okay, this is the very first time. Okay. It's tough, but you get a case kind of out in the middle of nowhere, only one person, there to get information from. I'm just trying to rack my brain just to kind of think of questions, because there's not a ton to go off of. Denise's same area. Jason as Toby. I'm not sure what you mean,
Sometimes it
Denise.
would take me a day or two to get to her when she would call me, but because I live 9 hours away from Selma.
Okay.
But she always called me.
So has there been any dogs or any searches out there? We have Angie asking.
Yes, we hired a private detective and his dogs to search for her. Day 3 after she went missing, I believe it was.
Okay, and of course, didn't turn up anything at all.
And 1 year after she went missing, search and rescue went out with more teams of dogs.
Okay. So there's been 2 teams of dogs, and you said 2 private investigators, 2 over the year?
I would like to add, I did interview the search and rescue, the initial dog guy, and he did say that Ericka's scent tracked in the direction of Bend, Oregon, kind of along the highway. But whether that was, fresh, or like kind of an older track of her going up in that general direction prior, remains to be seen. Also, the reason the search dogs went out the next year is because some belongings of Ericka's were found in the woods nearby where she disappeared, by Anthony. And he uncovered some of her belongings and got a hold of the proper people. And law enforcement came out and searched and couldn't find anything else.
Okay. So they have searched, though. So Angie Marie asked a good point. I actually was thinking of this in my head as well. Is it the neighbor or the boyfriend is the actual last person to have seen her?
The boyfriend is the last person to see
The
her.
boyfriend is
She
okay.
took a shower at the neighbors and went back to the camper where Anthony was waiting for her. And
Okay.
he's the last person to see her.
Okay.
And also worth noting, and something that I speak about in the podcast that I kind of started surrounding Ericka, is that there was a gun that was reported missing from the neighbor's property at a certain point around this time as well. So that may be related to this, and it may not be. It remains to be seen, sort of thing.
Okay. Oh, I see what
Ericka was deathly afraid of guns. So if that gun's related at all, it wasn't by her.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, so she was a totally like non-gun person, so she would have never. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she jumped out of my car on the freeway once because she found out I was carrying.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That's how much she hates guns. I mean, she wouldn't have picked one up.
Pine Mountain asks, who did they say found some of her belongings? Her boyfriend found them, Pine.
Her boyfriend, yes.
Yeah. Angie says, were the items weathered as if they had been outside the whole time? The items that were found?
Yes, they had moss growing on them.
Okay. Angie, she's been missing since May. And if anyone ever wonders if they lose track of like the basics like that, like the location and the date, I do always include that in the description, guys. So you can always check that. Okay, I understand, Denise. I thought you meant my Toby, not yours. Okay, I get you. Shiva's girl asks, where is Anthony now? But you had said that as far as we know, he's locally and he's cooperating and everything, right?
He's actually in Arkansas.
Oh, okay. How long did he?
He's been in Arkansas for about 2 years now.
Okay, so it was what, about half a year or so after she left that he moved out there?
He actually went to Hawaii and then northern Idaho.
About a year after she went missing is around about when he did this, because he found her items in April of 2019. And then shortly thereafter, he went to Hawaii and then came back to the stateside, I guess.
Okay. All right. So I think I told you guys previously, but I would like for you to get a message directly to her. I feel like that's one of the most powerful things that we do. It's one of the parts of the interview I feel is the most important part. You can speak directly to her, or if there's anybody that may have information that's not coming forward, if you want to maybe put a call out to them to let them know, what you're going through, how important it is for them to come forward, things like that. Basically, you have the floor, and I don't know if one of you wants to go first, or how you guys want to do it. Do you want to just go in the order that you are on screen, or
how you want to do this, Rachel?
This is the most emotional part for me.
You want me to go first, or
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Ericka, if you're out there, I know that you and I have never met directly, but I would really love the opportunity to know you. So if you're out there, get a hold of Rachel and just come home. If anybody knows anything and is holding anything back, we're approaching the 3-year anniversary of her disappearance, and we're going to be walking through Selma this coming Monday on May 17th. Please find it in your heart to speak up. Please find it in your heart to come forward, because nobody deserves to feel this sort of pain that Ericka's family and her loved ones are experiencing.
Thank you, Gwen. And you're doing a great job, by the way, especially for someone who, wasn't like a super close friend or anything. I'm impressed of all the information you've uncovered and the work you've done. So great job.
Thanks.
And thank you for your help.
Yeah, very grateful to you.
And Rachel, if you need to take a moment, or if you need to step off camera at any point, I have a very understanding audience. They're super helpful. They're used to, this whole thing. So take your time.
I feel kind of silly sending a message to Ericka because I know she's gone. I know she is in my heart, but if I'm wrong, it's okay to come home. Nobody's gonna judge you.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear. You can use the time however you want. Don't feel pressured to if you don't want to give a direct message. If you'd rather speak to someone who may know information or something like that, you can give whatever message you would like to. Don't feel like you have to do it a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, somebody out there has to know something. Even if it's somebody I've already talked to, if you can remain anonymous, just let me know where she is. I'm not even out for vengeance. I just need to know where my sister is. I need to put her to rest. You don't have to make yourself known. Just tell me where she is.
Okay. Well, thank you, Rachel. Both of you guys are doing a great job in advocating for her. We're going to pray for a positive resolution. I totally understand that it gets to a point where you just kind of feel like you know what happened, and you kind of think like there's no way it would have went this long. But I do try to always keep some kind of positive, hope alive for a positive resolution. So I am going to pray that there's some kind of explanation. And I have had people went a good deal longer than this, and the family said the same thing. There's no way they wouldn't have did this because of this reason, and sure enough, they pop up. So keep a small bit of hope alive. I ask you to do that because I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've been doing this about a year, and I've already seen it a few times. Out of about 140 cases, so it does happen. And I would like to also put a shout out to anybody who does know information. Please never assume the information isn't big enough to come forward with, or that they already know this. Whatever you know, you don't know who knows what, and it just takes a person to put together the right little bit of pieces of info. It's like a puzzle. Once you get the right amount of pieces, then it becomes clear. So you never know what's going to be the straw to break the camel's back, so to speak. So if you know anything, no matter how big, how small, if you think it's already known, whatever, please come forward. The information to contact Gwen and Rachel is below, as well as we've been putting the flyers on screen. You can contact the authorities as well. I do also put my information out there. By all means, you can contact me, but I stress not to just message me. If you're going to contact me, you should also be contacting the family and or the police because, God forbid you send something that's time sensitive and I don't get to it in time or something, so we miss out. Make sure to get it to the right places. I don't want to you to send it to me and I don't get it there in time. So and also we have links for some of the groups and stuff. Gwen, I know you have a walk coming up. You have a couple things you wanted to kind of announce, right? Did you want to go over all that, the things we have in the links? Okay. This is all in the description, guys. Go ahead.
So like I said, we have the walk coming up on the 17th. We're going to be meeting at Ray's Market in Selma and going down the highways a fair way. We might try to at least go down Deer Creek a little ways, but it is a 7-mile distance, so I don't know if we'll actually make it to the spot that she, disappeared from. But we are planning on doing that. It's coming up really soon. I got some signs made from a local print and copy shop, and so that was pretty cool. We're doing that. Also, please check out my podcast, A Light for Ericka. That's Ericka. For more information and updates. I've been having trouble recording lately, but I'm hoping to get back into the swing of things again. And I do have a bigger episode planned that covers kind of a few other missing persons in the Josephine County area as well. Hopefully we get more information about Ericka soon, though, because this is it's been long enough.
Yeah, 3 years is a long time not to know. Every family I talk to says the same thing. It's the not knowing that's the worst part of it all. I do have the link to your podcast there as well, Gwen, so please check that out, guys. She does a great job on it. So like she said, whether you want to learn more about Ericka's case or she will be covering other cases in the near future. So please do check it out. Rachel, is there anything, and I'll ask this to Gwen after as well, but is there anything that wasn't covered that you feel is important? Anything from, just a fact or a point you wanted to get out there, to tattoos, identifying marks, anything along those lines?
Not really. I think you covered most of it. She also has a missing persons page on Facebook. You can visit for more information.
Yeah, we have that in the description too, by the way, guys.
If you have any information, please contact us. I don't know if the sheriff's department is the best place for that information, but definitely do contact them. But please let me know too, because they're not going to tell me what they know. They're not going to tell me the tips they get, and I don't have confidence that they're going to follow those tips. So please, if you have any information, let us all know, please.
Yeah. So, and yeah, if you want me to rephrase that, I can just say, forget going to the police, just go right to you guys. The links are there. So I just said that because I always say, go to the police or the family. But yeah, if you kind of want to put that out there to only go to you, by all means, that's your right.
I report every tip I get to the officers. But the best way to get through is to contact me. Okay.
So you report it to them, but your concern is they won't report it to you. So you'd like it to start with you. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Like everything that I get, I usually run it past Rachel when I send it to the police, just because I know they're not telling her anything.
Right. Yeah. And that's, unfortunately, I would have never thought before I started doing this job, how often the families don't hear anything from the police. I mean, it's at least 70% that tell me either the police are doing a bad job or they're doing a good job, but they can't tell me anything or whatever. But there's not a lot of communication. Don't get me wrong. Logically, it makes sense. They have to keep some things close to the vest. And I get that, but it seems like in some cases it's kind of overkill. They don't say anything. Yeah, and Gwen, on your side, is there anything, because I know you have like your book and the notes and things, is there anything that you want to make sure that's out there that we didn't think to cover? Again, facts that you have in the book, as well as I don't think we went over tattoos and identifying marks and stuff, did we?
I think you might have mentioned it in the very beginning that she has a tattoo of a marijuana leaf on her on her shoulder.
Right bicep, yes.
Yeah, on her right bicep.
Is that the only tattoo? Sorry, sometimes I forget if it was a while ago. Is that the only tattoo? Is the marijuana leaf?
Only one I know of. Is there another one, Rachel?
No, that's the only one.
Okay. And is there anything else, Gwen, that you wanted to cover that we didn't?
Honestly, not really. We've covered pretty much everything that there is to the case right now, unfortunately. I know it's kind of minimalistic at best, but all I can really add is that if you're in the West Coast area, because that seems to be kind of where the tips I've been getting have been, located, please keep an eye out, because even though it does seem like there's a slim chance, you never really know. And I like to keep hope alive until there's proof otherwise.
Yeah, I deal with a lot of cases, and it's gotten to the point where when I look at them, I can usually tell which way they're going to go. Some of them, we have a ton of stuff to talk about. So much stuff comes out during it. It's huge. We go 2 hours. And then some of them are kind of like this, where there's really only one other person kind of involved. No one really knows anything. And I can tell it's going to be kind of minimalistic, like you said. But but the thing is, it's still good to get it out there, because we're still getting the story out to, thousands of people that are going to watch it. We're getting her face out there to more people who may bump into her or something, or have seen her, someday back then or whatever. But it's getting the story, the picture. So even if it's only a tiny bit of information, getting it out to more people can always help. So,
something else to add, that if any of your viewers or anything have any friends or family that are involved in the rainbow community, the like kind of traveling hippie people that do the rainbow gatherings out every now and then, please share this information with them, because Ericka was involved in the Rainbow family, and so someone on that side of things who is less than willing to come to law enforcement or anything may be willing to speak with one of us if they know anything.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, guys. Like I said, both of their Facebook links are there, so please follow up with the case. Join the Facebook. My audience does. You'll probably get some friend requests and people asking questions and stuff. Maybe some tips. Who knows? Or not always tips, but sometimes just people have ideas and things like that. But yeah, you guys both did an amazing job. So thank you so much for coming on. Rachel, you did a great job for your sister. I know she's proud of you. And Gwen, you did awesome too. I mean, for someone who didn't even really know her, I pray one day you're going to get to meet her, and who knows, maybe she'll be one of your best friends when it's all said and done, right?
Man, I just want to give her a hug.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, you're doing amazing. So, and thank you for helping us set this up. If anything develops, guys, and there's more information, there's some kind of major update, you can always come back on. We'll do another one, and we'll update people. And if it will help the case, I'm always willing to do it. So just keep in touch with me. Anything that you think is going to move it forward, whether it's posting a link on my general Facebook, doing another YouTube video, whatever, I'm always open. So my line's open for you guys anytime. Just let me know, okay?
Thank you so much, Jason.
No problem. And thank you, Rachel and Gwen. Have a great night, guys. So let's try to bring Ericka home, and I'm going to say a prayer for her tonight, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night. All right, guys. Thank you. Great guest. They did a great job. It's just sad. I'm sorry that there wasn't a ton of info on that one, guys. Like we said, that's just how some of them are. There's not a lot of people involved. Midnight Rocker, my information is below. You said you want to speak to me? Absolutely. I do actually have to get to work, guys, in about an hour and a half. So I'm going to finish up here. And thank you guys for joining us. If anyone would like to support the show, the links are in the description. I think we did get one donation, PayPal donation, while I was doing that. So thank you to whoever did donate. I actually can't see it. Is it Annie? I think I got one from Annie. So thank you to anyone who did donate. And if you would like to, again, the links are below. And as well as the links to the groups for Ericka and how to contact the guest tonight. So please stay in touch, learn about the case, listen to her podcast, and let's try to help bring her home. We try not to just, get the stories out there, but we try to move a step forward and try to help the families and, do all that we can, guys. So, sorry, I'm kind of reading as I talk. I think we covered everything. All right, guys, thank you so much. I will see you. I don't think we have an interview tomorrow night. I think it's going to be the night after. But I'll let everybody know, and I'll send out a blast on Facebook once I know for sure. So have a great night, everyone. Thank you for watching Jason Hebert Live. Please subscribe and set the notification bell to all. All right, take care.